Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Teacher Nikki, and this is part of my ESL teaching strategy series. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about shared reading, and I'm going to read from this book, The 50 Strategies for Teaching English Language Learners, and I'm reading on page 73, but I think the updated version, it might be different page number. But I just want to read this little paragraph here, and then I'm going to talk to you guys about my experience using this strategy. So shared reading is a strategy that teachers use to read books, charts, and other texts with students when the text is too difficult for the students to read independently. Students and teacher read the text aloud together. Now here's something really important. Even when the students cannot read along with the teacher, they're hearing the words pronounced as their eyes follow the text. This is something that I always encouraged, especially when I was in a monolingual class in like language arts or social studies as a middle school teacher. I always told the teacher, like, when we do read aloud, or even if you're reading directions on a sheet of paper for a worksheet or an activity, any time that you can use, and there's like a machine called an Elmo machine, that's what we were using, and basically it just shows the paper that you're using and it reflects it on the projector. So I would say anytime that you can use that and use your finger to show where you're reading, because what happens, especially with beginners, they lose track. You know, a level 1, a level 2, maybe a level 3. 3s tend to be able to follow along to an extent compared to like a level 1 and 2, but depending on if they're reading at a native speaker level or not. So obviously if you slow down for people, they can follow along, but in a monolingual class, if you have like a level 1 student at the 7th grade level, you're not going to slow down just for a few kids typically. So I would say at least if you just have your finger there pointing along, and that will help. At least they can see what's going on. It helps them kind of get oriented with what's happening in the class as well. So even if they don't understand 100% what you're saying, they can catch a few words here and there. They might hear some cognates. They're going to hear that pronunciation. They're going to put the image of the word, the text with the sound. So there's so many pieces going on with that. And if you're an online teacher like I am now, this is a great thing to do as well with all levels who need it. I would say beginners and intermediate levels need this the most. So I actually did this today, but I did it more with like a repetition. It's called Choral Reading, where I read a chunk of sentences and they repeated it after me. Because sometimes it can be distracting online if everybody's kind of reading and they're echoing or whatever. So it was a little bit more structured and it just flowed better if they just repeated after me. But it made more sense to have them repeat me so that they practiced proper pronunciation rather than having them read it and it's all botched. So that is a great way to practice with your students online, and I did this with adults today, so you can do it with any age. Let's see if there's anything else I want to share from here. Okay, in the primary grades, large books with big print, called big books, are used with small groups of students so they can see the illustrations and text. Shared reading can also be done with multiple copies of small books, poetry, charts, song lyrics, or any text, as long as students and teachers can all see the words. That's the most important part. Now, they're saying in the second paragraph here, this is appropriate for English language learners because the teacher has opportunities to use illustrations to support the vocabulary development, to use think aloud strategies, to teach problem-solving approaches, and to integrate verbal interactions to support comprehension. And that's from Gibbons, 1993. So when using shared reading with English language learners, it becomes especially important to build background knowledge. I'm going to do a whole video too about background knowledge and experiences that help the student to understand the meaning of the text. The skills and strategies that can be taught through shared reading are shown on the next page, I believe. So what they're showing in here is a chart. So they say word boundaries, frame the word caps in the sentence. Oh, so I think what they're saying here is you can circle like all the capital letters, or you could do this with like a lot of different things. You could do it with present tense, past tense, future, you know, punctuation. You can practice reading from left to right. I think with adults, most of them get that. With kids, they need to learn that. Word meaning. So look through the text together, focus on vocabulary. Looking at the pictures and captions and trying to understand and make meaning of them. Using visual meaning and syntax. So question examples that they have. How did you know the word was monkeys? Maybe a visual prompted them. Show me the picture that shows you what the word means. So you're trying to see if they understand it or not, checking for comprehension. Would we say the boy went jeans? So that would be syntax. You're checking with them to see, can they self-correct? The boy went jeans? What could you change there? Reading with expression, how would he say that? Okay, so today I was teaching all about exclamatory statements, and I asked the class, they were level 2, I'm like, do you guys know what exclamatory means? Nobody knew what it meant. That's okay, so we just started the lesson, and you might think, well, don't you want to let them, like, tell them what that means? Well, the reason that was intentional, I did not tell them, because I wanted them to learn it in context. So every time they saw the exclamation, I showed them, okay, this is an exclamation, this is an exclamatory statement. How does our voice sound when we say this sentence? And I was really emphasizing, like, that's so cute. Look how beautiful that is. And they had fun with it because I was really emphasizing that inflection in the voice, and they had fun practicing it as well because I was having fun. So you can talk about how to read with expression, and then you could work on fixing different things if they're reading something incorrectly. There's so many different things you can do with reading. Try to figure things out based on the context of a word. If they don't know the word, have them keep reading and see if they can figure out what it means. And then the other things on here, I'm just going to skip over those, but that is, remember we were talking about shared reading, but some of those strategies are just reading strategies in general. So that is all I have for you guys today. And what's coming up next, I'm looking at my calendar here. I have, let me get it. Oh, I have reciprocal teaching coming up next. I was going to do Read Aloud Plus, but I don't know if it's that different. I'm going to double check on that one and see if I actually want to do it or not. But I have reciprocal teaching coming up and repetition and innovation after that. So look forward to those two in the coming weeks, and I've got lots more coming, you guys. Like, I have, I think, 9 to 12 more videos about different ESL strategies. I mean, this book has 50 strategies, but I'm going over the ones that I prefer and use the most. So keep your comments coming. I'd really like to know if this is something that you are going to use and what your thoughts are about it, if you've used it before, if you have any suggestions or tips you want to share with other people. let us know in the comments. Alright, see you in the next video. Bye-bye!